What is up, guys? Emmanuel Jones here. We back up with another NFL video, and this time I'm gonna do an NFL video that I never done before. I'm gonna be predicting every game, predicting every game for the regular season for the 2024 NFL season. I'm gonna be predicting all 272 games, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but I'm going to try. So before I get to the video, don't forget to put a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to my channel for more options, and don't forget to comment down your opinion below to see who you think, what record you think your team will go. So here we go. Let's go get started. So we're at week 1. We got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, this is a game right here that can go either way. Most people probably going to be on the Ravens because they think the Ravens might want revenge from in the AFC Championship game. But this is on Thursday night at home in Kansas City where the home crowd is going to be loud in there. And I think I like the energy the Chiefs play. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs here because I think the Chiefs are at home. And, I just think the Ravens have lost a lot of pieces on both sides of the ball, especially their offensive line and defensive line. And I think, they have the pass rush to get after Lamar. And I think the secondary, I think the corner, can really match, and the safeties can match up well with the Ravens as well. And I think, I don't think the Ravens don't have much of a pass rush, but I think the Chiefs can run the ball a little bit on them. And I think Mahomes can have time. So I think the Chiefs win this game. Patriots versus Bengals. Obviously, Bengals should win this game because the Bengals, they're at home, better core, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. Patriots are going to be dealing with a new quarterback, a new coach. I mean, a lot of new going on, so they're going to be dealing with learning curve due to that. So, yeah. So, I think the Bengals should easily win this game at home. Jaguars versus Dolphins. This is a tricky one, but both Florida teams are playing against each other. But I'm going to go with Miami here to win this game because the Dolphins are at home in this game. And, Miami is kind of a tricky place to play at because it's kind of hot down there. And Jacksonville is used to the warm weather, but I think this is a game where they're kind of going to struggle in this warm weather, and especially the Dolphins. I understand they got a new defensive coordinator, but I don't really know how good their run defense is going to be. I think the Dolphins really don't have much of a pass rush, but I think their offense is very explosive with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and OBJ. And also Jonnu Smith as well. I think the weapons that the Dolphins have on offense is going to be too much for Jacksonville's defense to handle. So I don't think Jacksonville really has enough corners in the secondary that can play man on man against one another. So yeah, I think the Dolphins, this is a Jalen Ramsey revenge game because he was a Jaguar. So I think the Dolphins defense can do enough to at least give Trevor Lawrence issues, and they have the corners to match up well with the Jaguars receiving core. So yeah, I think the Dolphins win this game at home in a close one, but I think it will be a high scoring game. Texans versus Colts. This is a tricky one though. I want to go with the Colts here to win at home, but I am going to go with the Texans here to at least win this game because the Texans are just a better team, better quarterback. They kind of have a better coaching staff as well, and they're just a more complete team as well. I don't know what Anthony Richardson's going to look like because I still think he's very raw, and especially he's going to be rusty coming off an injury. So yeah, I think the Texans win this game. Raiders versus Chargers. Obviously, I got the Chargers winning this game at home because Chargers kind of have a better coaching staff. They have a better quarterback. They're at home. And yeah. And especially, I don't know who the quarterback for the Raiders is as well. And especially the Chargers match up well with the Raiders on paper really good because they have the secondary to match up well with the Raiders receivers. They have the pass rush to get after the quarterback as well. But I know they're not good at stopping the run, and I don't think the Raiders have a running game. Maybe they do a good job slowing down the run. And even though the Chargers don't have good weapons on offense, I think Justin Herbert can do enough to slice and dice the Raiders secondary up, which the Raiders secondary isn't good. So the Chargers should win that game. Titans versus Bears. Obviously, this could be a swing game, though, but most people are going to be on the Bears because they're at home. But, I'm going to roll with the Bears here because the Bears are at home in this game. And I just think they're the more complete team. And I just think the Bears defense can do enough to slow down the Titans offense. They have the corners to match up well the Titans receivers. They kind of have a little bit of a pass rush to get after the quarterback, the young quarterback, because I don't trust a young quarterback on the roll, especially against a good defense like the Bears. And I think they'll do enough to stop the run. And, I think the Titans, defense will be in a bad position where their corners will. Because I think Keenan Allen, Romo Duze, and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, those guys might be too much for a Titans defense to handle. And I think the Titans offense Bears offense will be way too explosive. So I think the Bears win this game. Steelers versus Falcons. This is another swing game that can go either way. Now, most people could be picking the Falcons to win because they're favored in this game and they're at home and have a better quarterback. But I don't know. I could definitely see Atlanta win this game at home. But I'm going to roll the Steelers here because I think the Steelers, they're just a more complete team, have a better coach. And I just think the Steelers, are just. I think the Falcons will be dealing with some learning curves with a new quarterback, a new coach, a lot of new stuff. But I don't know if they really have much of a defense to slow down the Steelers' running game because I think the Steelers can run the ball on them because they have a strong offensive line and their defense is pretty strong. So I think they'll do enough to like give the Falcons' offense issue. Like they can disrupt Kirk Cousins and their run game, and yeah. And I think they do have the secondary to cover, the receivers as well. So I think the Steelers win this game. Cardinals at Bills. This could be a fun game to watch, but I'm going with Buffalo because Buffalo's just a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. And plus, I feel like Josh Allen can do enough to slice and dice the Cardinals secondary up. And especially Buffalo has a better defense that can really get after Kyler Murray. And they have the corners to cover, Marvin Harrison Jr. and those other weapons that the Cardinals have. So, yeah. So I think the Bills win this game. Broncos versus Seahawks. Obviously, Seahawks should easily win this game. I don't know who the quarterback for the Broncos is. Either it's going to be Bo Nix or Zach Wilson. I mean, a rookie on the road, especially going on the West Coast in Seattle to play against a good defense, that's kind of tricky. That's not really good because Seattle has really good corners that can match up against Courtland Sutton. They have a bit of a pass rush that can get after the quarterback, and I think they can stop the run really well. And I don't think the Broncos really have enough guys in the secondary that can man up against the weapons that Seattle has. And plus, the Seahawks have a good offensive line, did improve a little bit. And I don't think the Broncos have much of a pass rush. So I think Seattle can run the ball on them as well. So, yeah. And especially they have the better quarterback. They're at home and they're the more complete team. So, yeah. Cowboys versus Browns. This is a swing game. This is a game that can go either way. Now, most people could be picking the Cowboys to win because the Cowboys are kind of a better team than the Browns. They're a better version than the Browns. And especially they kind of have a better quarterback. But you know what, though? The game's in Cleveland. So, I mean, the game was in Dallas. I mean, it could be different and the Cowboys can win. Since the game's in Cleveland, I think the Browns are going to win this game. Because the reason why I'm saying the Browns are going to win this game is because the Browns are at home in this game. And their defense is really good at home against good teams. And especially the dog pound is going to be pounded up and they're going to be ready. And I just think the Browns defense can do enough to at least give the Cowboys offense and Dak Prescott issues. And especially the Cowboys may not have a run game. So I think the Browns defense can find a way to stop the run, get pressure on Dak and all that. And especially the Cowboys got new pieces on their offensive line. So I think that can be a challenge. And the Browns do have the corners in the secondary to match up well with the Cowboys receivers. They have, the offensive line that can really control their pass rush. And I think they can run the ball on them a little bit, especially against a Cowboys defense that's not good against the run. So, yeah. And also, they have the better, so, yeah. As long as Deshaun Watson, even though he sucks, I think the Browns find a way to win this game, and I think the offense can do enough to move the ball as well. So, yeah, I like the Browns here in this matchup. Jets versus Niners. This is a Monday night game. This is a game where Aaron Rodgers gets to return to his hometown. But I'm going to go with the Niners here because the Niners are the more complete team. They're at home in this game. They have the better coaching staff. And I just think the defense is going to do enough to at least get after Aaron Rodgers. And especially, They're probably going to do enough to slow down the run. They have the secondary and the corners to match up well the Jets receivers. So yeah, I think the Niners offensive line can do enough to control the Jets pass rush in this game. So yeah, I think the Niners win this game at home. Packers versus Eagles. This is on a Friday in Brazil. Obviously, this is a game right here that can go either way. I mean, this is a game where I can definitely see the Packers win this game because the Eagles are not are soft against the pass. But I don't know. I feel like the Eagles are kind of more talented than the Packers, but I think the Eagles are going to win this game because I think the Eagles got more skill group. They're at home, and I feel like the Eagles, are just a more complete team. And I just think the Eagles have the answers on defense to slow down the Packers' offense. Like they're good against the run, so maybe they'll slow down Jacobs in this game. And I think they can get after Jordan Love, and I think the secondary is good enough where they can like man up against the Packers' young receivers. And especially, I think the Packers, where their weakness is, sometimes the Packers aren't good against the run or the pass. So I think the Eagles can throw the ball on them. They can run the ball on them to have success as well with Saquon in there. So, yeah, I think it's going to be kind of close, like a high-scoring game, but I think the Eagles are going to win this game. Panthers versus Saints. Obviously, I got the Saints win this game. The Saints are at home. They got the better quarterback. I mean, they have the better coaching and they're just a more complete team. So yeah, I mean they're gonna be dealing with some learning curves because Panthers will be doing learning curves because they're gonna be dealing with some new coaches and especially new receivers and especially Bryce Young, on the road, especially against the Saints defense, is really good. Yeah, especially the Saints matching well with the Panthers really good on paper. They have the defense to slow down the Panthers offense and all that. They have the secondary to man up against the Panthers receivers, the passers get the little Bryce Young and all that. So yeah. And I don't think the Panthers defense is that great. So I think Derek Carr can have a little time to throw the ball. So yeah, I think the Saints win this game. Vikings versus Giants. This is another swing game. This is a game that can go either way. I want to roll the Giants here because the Giants, are at home and have the more skill with the quarterback position. But I don't really know. I'm gonna go with the Vikings here because I think the Vikings are just have more weapons on offense. And I just think they kind of have a better defense. I think Flores, is going to find a way to at least like send heat against this Giants offense that's very weak. So I think the Vikings can get pressure on Daniel Jones. They can get after him, and they're good at stopping the run because the Giants don't really have a run game. Vikings are just a more complete offense. I think their receiving core is going to do enough so at least like it's going to be too much for a Giants secondary to handle. The rest of the Giants secondary isn't great, and Aaron Jones is going to be a challenge here in this game. So I think the Vikings find a way to win this game, especially they're the better coach team. So yeah. Commanders at Buccaneers. Obviously, I got the Bucs win this game. They're the more complete team. They're at home, better quarterback. So I think the Buccaneers, especially Todd Bowles against mobile quarterbacks, he finds a way. He gets prepared for these mobile quarterbacks. He knows how to confuse against mobile quarterbacks. And I think they have the answers on defense that can really like get after Daniel Jones, Jaden Daniels, and especially they're good at stopping the run as well. They can stop the pass as well too. So yeah, I think Todd Bowles is going to be aggressive in this game, especially Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, Cade Auden. Those guys are going to be too much for the Commanders secondary to handle because I don't think they have the answers in the secondary to man up against those guys. So yeah, I think the Bucs find a way to win this game at home. Rams versus Lions. This is a trick. This is another swing game though, but if the game is in LA, I might go the Rams here. But since the game's in Detroit, I'm going to go with the Lions here because I think the Lions are just a more complete team in this game. They're at home. And I just think the Lions did upgrade their secondary to man up against the Rams receivers. And I think their pass rush is going to be a challenge. And I think they're going to find a way. I think they can give the Rams offense and Matthew Stafford a tough time in this game. And especially, I just think the Rams can like throw the ball on them a little bit. I mean, the Lions can throw the ball on them a little because sometimes the Rams are not good against the pass. So I think the Lions can throw the ball on them, even though the Lions aren't good against the pass. So the Rams can throw the ball on them. But I think it's going to be an offensive game a little bit. But I think the Lions find a way to like pull it out at home because I think the crowd is going to be noisy. It's going to be loud and all that. So, yeah, I think the Lions win this game. All right, week 2, Bills versus Dolphins. Obviously, this is a game that can go either way. Now, most people could be picking the Bills to win because the Bills kind of own the Dolphins. But the Dolphins pretty much play the Bills pretty well, though. Like, they kind of do. But the game's in Miami on a Thursday on a short week. I'm going to go with Miami here because I think Miami's just a better team overall. I mean, no, I'm not to say. I think Miami has more weapons, and I think they're more explosive on offense. I just think the Bills, I don't think they have a lot of explosive ability, and I don't know if their defense is going to be able to slow down Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. So yeah, and I think the Dolphins defense, they've gave the Bills offense issues. Like last game of the season, they gave the Bills offense issues, and the Bills still able to win that game. So yeah, so obviously I think the Dolphins, find a way to pull this on one out at home. Jets versus Titans. Obviously, this is a game I think the Titans can win because they're at home and they kind of have the defense to match up well with the Jets offense. But I think the Jets are going to go on the road and win this game because I think the Jets, they match up well with the Titans pretty good. They have the defense, like the pass rush to get after Will Levis. They have the corners to match up the man up against the Titans receivers. Like, I just think the defense is just going to – I wouldn't trust a young quarterback, especially against an elite defense like the Jets. So, yeah, and I think their offensive line did improve a little bit that can really control the Titans' pass rush. So, yeah, I think especially the Jets have the better quarterback and they're the more complete team. So, yeah, so I think the Jets win this game. Browns at Jags. This is a tricky one because this can go either way. Now, some people might be picking the Browns to win this game, but the Browns defense on the road is not really good. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars because Jacksonville is kind of a tricky place to play at, though. And especially Jacksonville is kind of talented on both sides of the ball. Now, here's the thing. Jacksonville has the pass rush a little bit. They improved their defensive line to get after the quarterback because Deshaun Watson isn't good. So I think the defense can give him issues, especially, they kind of have the secondary a little bit to man up against the Browns receivers as well. And especially Jacksonville's offensive line, it's okay, but not great. So, yeah, and especially I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a field day in this game. And especially Jacksonville's at home. They have the better quarterback. So, yeah, I think Jacksonville wins this game. Raiders at Ravens. Ravens should win this game. Ravens are at home, better quarterback, better coaching. They're the more complete team. Yeah. Steelers at Broncos. This is a swing game now. Some people could be picking the Broncos to win because Denver is kind of a tricky place to play at, though. But the Broncos don't know who the quarterback's going to be, so I go with Steelers here. Better quarterback, they're just a better team overall. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Broncos still. I wouldn't trust a rookie against an elite defense like the Steelers. So, yeah, I don't think the Broncos have a lot. I don't think the Broncos can move the ball on them against a good defense and all that. So, yeah, I think Russell Wilson's going to have a lot of time, and I think they can run the ball on them as well. And so, yeah, I think the Steelers win this game. Bengals versus Chiefs. This is another swing game, though. I could definitely see the Chiefs win at home, but I'm going to go Bengals here. Bengals, are just a superior team, and I think they have the answers on defense to slow down the Chiefs' offense. Like, they have the secondary to man up against the Chiefs receiver. They have the pass rush get after Mahomes, and they can stop the run really well. And especially, I feel like Jamar Chase is going to be a problem without L'Jarius Sneed. So, yeah. I think the Bengals find a way to win that game. Colts versus Packers. I got the Packers win this game. Packers are at home, more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. And, I think the Packers defense can do enough to at least give the Colts offense and Anthony Richardson issues. Like, they have the pass rush to get after the court after Anthony Richardson. They have the secondary to man up against the Colts receivers as well. And I think Jordan Love can do enough to at least have time and slice and dice the Colts secondary up, which is not really good. So I think the Packers receivers can go off in this game. So yeah, I think the Packers win this game. Chargers versus Panthers. This is another swing game. This is a game I think, the Panthers could win. But I'm gonna roll with the Chargers here because I think the Chargers, have the better quarterback, better coach. They're kind of a better team in my opinion. But even though the Chargers, I mean, the Panthers got more weapons, but I think the Chargers, even though they don't got good weapons on offense, I think Justin Herbert can do enough to like slice and dice the Panthers secondary up. Because I don't think the Panthers secondary is that great and the Panthers defense is that great. So I think the Chargers can run the ball a little bit on them, and they have a strong offensive line as well. And I think the pass rush can do enough to at least like disrupt the Panthers running game and give Bryce Young issues. And I think they kind of have the corners in the secondary to man up against the Panthers receivers. So yeah, I think it will be close, but I think the Chargers find a way to pull this one out. Seahawks versus Patriots. This is a game I think the Patriots can win because they're at home in this game, and their defense has played well against Seattle. But I'm rolling with the Seahawks here because Seahawks is the better team. They got the better quarterback, and I just think the Seahawks, defense is gonna give the Patriots offense a lot of fits, and they're gonna make them one dimensional. Especially their secondary is gonna man up against, and I think their secondary. I feel like they can be sticky against an underwhelming receiving core. So yeah, and especially I think they have a little bit of a pass rush that can really get after the quarterback as well. Because I don't think the Patriots' offensive line is that great, but I think it could be closer than we expect. But I think the Seahawks win this game. Bears at Texans. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I think the Texans win this game because the Texans got the better quarterback. They're at home, better coaching. They're just a more complete team. And I just won't trust a rookie on the road, especially against a good defense like the Texans. Yeah, I think the Texans defense is going to give them a lot of problems because I think their pass rush can get after Caleb. I think that they have a good now in the secondary that can man up against the Bears receivers. So, yeah, especially I think the offensive line can do enough to control the Bears' pass rush because I don't think the Bears have much of a pass rush to slow down the running game, like slow down Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon can have a good game here. So I think it will be closer, but I think the Texans win this game. Niners at Vikings. Obviously, Niners should win this game. They're going to get revenge from last year because, the Vikings, beat them with Kirk Cousins. With Kirk Cousins looked like Tom Brady in that game. Well, now this is a different team without Kirk Cousins. I mean, I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road. I wouldn't trust a rookie quarterback against that defense of the Niners. I think the Niners defense is going to play better this game. They're going to give the Vikings offense a lot of issues. Like they have the secondary and the man up against the Vikings receiver. They have the pass rush to like stop the run game. And I think they can. And I don't really think the Vikings have the answers in the secondary that can man up against Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. I think those guys will be a problem. So yeah. So I think the Niners win this game here. Especially they have the better quarterback, better coaching staff, and they're the more complete team. So yeah. Saints versus Cowboys. Obviously, Cowboys should win this game. Derek Carr isn't good against tough defenses. Cowboys, defense is going to like give the Saints offense a lot of problems, especially the secondary will find a way to man up against those Saints receivers. And I think the pass rush can do enough to get after the Saints, and especially, the Saints can move the ball to them, knowing the Cowboys can't stop the run that good. But, I think the Saints defense can give the Cowboys problems because, they have the mid secondary to man problems as well. But I think Dak Prescott's going to have a lot of time to throw the ball and all that. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys win this game. Giants at Commanders. I'm going to go Commanders here at home because I think Jaden Daniels going to get his first win career at home. I think, though, they should be able to sweep the Giants now. Washington kind of wants revenge because they got swept by the Giants last year. So, yeah. Bucks versus Lions. Obviously, I got the Lions here. Lions are at home. This is a Darrell Carlton Davis revenge game, which he gets to play against his former team, and he gets to man up against the Bucks receivers. And they match up well with the Bucks really good on paper, so they should be able to win that game. Especially, I think their pass rush can get after Baker, and I think they can stop their running game because I don't think they have a good running game. And then I think their offensive line can do enough to control their pass rush. And I think, I don't think the Bucks really have enough guys in the second that can man up against the Lions receiving core. So yeah, I think Jared Goff's gonna have a good game here. So yeah, and especially the Lions are the better team overall. So yeah, and they're at home and they have the better coaching staff. So yeah, I think the Lions will win this game. Rams versus Cardinals. I'm gonna go Cardinals as an upset. I don't know why. I have a feeling I'm gonna go with the Cardinals because Kyler Murray just seems to play really well against this Rams defense. So yeah, I think Kyler Murray's gonna have a good game here. Falcons versus Eagles. Hmm. Um, I'm gonna go Eagles here. Um, Eagles are just a better team overall. They're at home. Um, they have better coaching staff as well, and I think the Eagles are match up well with the Falcons really good because I think the defense is going to give Kirk Cousins issues and the offense issues. So I think they'll slow down the run game. They have enough guys in the secondary that can man up against the Falcons receivers, and also the Falcons don't really have much of a pass rush to get after the quarterback. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a lot of time, and I think Saquon can have a lot of time. He can have a good game here, so they can run the ball on them. They can throw the ball on them as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be very close, but I think the Eagles find a way to pull this one off. All right, so week 2 is done. So week 3, we got the Patriots versus the Jets. Jets should win this game at home. Is on a short week. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a field day. Now, I believe the Jets beat them in the last game of the season. I think they will split with them. So I think they should win this game at home. Chargers versus Steelers. This is another swing game. This is a game I think the Chargers can win there. But I think the Steelers win this game because they're in Pittsburgh. They're at home in this game. They have the better quarterback. I mean, they're at home and they have the better coaching and they're just a more complete team. And I just think the defense is just going to give the Chargers offense issues. And I think I think their secondary can be a little sticky against an underwhelming receiving core. So yeah, I think they can do that. And even the Chargers, they're really not good against a run. So I think the Steelers can run the ball on them a little bit. They have a strong offensive line that can control the Chargers pass rush. So yeah, I think the Steelers win this game. Jags versus Bills. This is on a Monday night. I got the Bills win. They're at home, better quarterback, better coaching. They're just a better team overall, and I just think the Bills can do enough on defense, to get after the Jaguars offense, stop the running game, give Trevor Lawrence a lot of issues. And I think they have some corners in the secondary that can man up against the Jags receivers as well. So yeah, so I think the Bills find a way to win that game. Packers versus Titans. This is another swing game. I went back and forth on this game. I think this is a game I think the Titans can definitely win because they're at home and their offense is kind of explosive and they can run the ball on them as well. And I think their defense can do enough to slow down the Packers offense. Like they have corners in the secondary that can man up against a young Packers receiving core. Maybe I want to go with that, but I don't know. But I'm just gonna roll with the Packers here because I think the Packers are just a more complete team. Overall, better quarterback, better coach. This is the Matt LaFleur revenge game as well. And especially, I think the Packers defense is going to give the Titans offense a lot of problems. I think their pass rush is going to get after the young quarterback, and I think the secondary is going to find a way to man up against the Titans receivers. So yeah, I think the Packers find a way to pull this one off. Texans versus Vikings. Obviously, this game's in Minnesota. This is a game where I think the Vikings can definitely win because they have a lot of weapons on offense that can really give the Texans defense a lot of problems. And Brian Flores is a good schemer on defense. Maybe he can confuse CJ Stroud. But I'm going to go with the Texans here because I think the Texans are just a more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching. And I just think the Texans, this is a Danielle Hunter and Stephon Diggs revenge game. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be a challenge in this game. I don't think the Vikings really have the corners in the secondary to man up against the Texans receiving core. And especially, I think the pass rush is going to do enough to get after the Vikings offensive line. They can give the Vikings offense issues, and their run defense is really good, so they should be able to slow down the run as well. So yeah, I think the Texans win this game. Bears at Colts. This is another swing game. Now, a lot of people are going to be picking the Bears to win because the Bears, have the weapons on offense to get after the Colts defense because the Colts may not have a lot of people in the secondary that can cover. But I'm going with the Colts here because I think the Colts can match the Bears with line of scrimmage. Like the Colts have a really strong defensive line and a strong offensive line, and I think their O-line can really control the Bears pass rush, and I think they can run the ball on them a little bit. But the Bears run defense is really good, and especially their defensive line can really give the Bears offensive line issues. So yeah, I think the Colts find a way to win that game. Broncos versus Bucks. Bucks should win this game. Better quarterback. They're at home. They're a more complete team. Um, Broncos. I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road, especially against against a good defense like the Bucks. Yeah, I think the Bucks offense. I don't think they have enough players in the secondary that can man up against the Bucks receivers, and I think the Bucks, can run the ball on them a little bit because the Broncos' run defense is not really good. Their their O line isn't good, so I think the Bucks can get a little bit of a pass rush there to overwhelm that. So yeah, I think the Bucks find a way to win this game at home. Giants versus Browns. Browns should win this game. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're home. They're the more complete team. Better defense as well. Yeah. Dolphins versus Seahawks. This is another swing game. Now, some people could be picking the Dolphins to win because the Dolphins, could be way too explosive on offense. If the game is in Miami, I'll probably go with Miami, but the game's in Seattle, so I'll probably go with the Seahawks here because Seahawks are at home in this game. They have the guys, corners in the second ring to man up against this Dolphins receiving core. They have the pass rush get after Tua. So yeah. And especially the Dolphins defense isn't great, but I think they can run the ball on them a little bit. So yeah, I think Seattle wins. Panthers versus Raiders. This is another swing game, but I could go with the Panthers, but Raiders is gonna win this game because the Raiders are at home. Um, they're overall better at the line of scrimmage. And I just think the Raiders defense is just gonna give Bryce Young and his Panthers offensive line a lot of issues. So I think their pass rush can do a good job, stopping the run, getting after Bryce Young. And especially they got weapons on offense as well, like Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. I think those guys are just going to be too much for the Panthers secondary to handle. So I think the Raiders find a way to pull this one off. Ravens versus Cowboys. This is another swing game. Now, most people could be picking the Ravens to win because the Ravens are kind of a better team than Dallas. But I'm going with a little bit of an upset here. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here to win because I think the Cowboys can match the Ravens at the line of scrimmage. Like, they have the pass rush, to like get after Lamar. They have the corners to man up against the Ravens receiving core because I still think their receiving core is a bit suspect. I think the Cowboys secondary can be sticky against it. And I think they can do enough to slow down Derrick Henry. And especially, I think, the Cowboys have a better. And I think the Cowboys offense will have a good game. And I think that they're going to put the Ravens defense in a tough position. So basically, I think the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are going to win this game. All right. Next game, we have the Chiefs versus Falcons. This is on Sunday night game. Obviously, I think this is a tricky game. That's the game the Falcons could win because they're at home in a dome. But I think the Chiefs find a way to win this game because I think they have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a more complete team. They have the more complete defense too, as well. That can really, really get after Kirk Cousins and all that. So yeah, they can stop the run really good, and they can find a way to stop their passing game as well. And I think the Chiefs can run the ball on them as well. So yeah, I think the Chiefs can find a way to win this game. Eagles versus Saints. This is a swing game, another swing game. I think this is a game I think the Saints can win at home because it's in a dome, and New Orleans is a tricky place to play at. But I think the Saints, they can definitely give the Eagles offense a lot of issues, and they got some guys that can on offense that can give the Eagles defense a lot of issues. But I think the Eagles find a way to win this game because the Eagles are the better team, better quarterback, better coaching, and I think they do have the answers on defense to get after, They have a pass rush that can really get after Derek Carr, and they can stop the run really good. And I think the secondary can find a way to man up against the Saints receiving core. So, yeah, I think the Eagles win this game. Niners versus Rams. I think the Rams are going to beat the Niners once because I remember last year the Rams beat them in San Francisco. So, I'm going to go with the Rams here to beat the Niners once in this game. So, yeah. Lions versus Cardinals. Lions should win this game. Kyler could be a challenge, but I think the Lions win this game because they have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. They have the more complete defense as well. And I don't think the Cardinals I don't think the Cardinals defense is good enough to stop the Lions, receiving core and stop their high-powered offense. So Lions should easily win that game. Then I forgot. We got Commanders versus Bengals. Obviously, Bengals should win this game. They have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. They're at home, so yeah. Now we got towards week 3. Now let's go to week 4. Jags versus Texans. I got the Texans because Texans are at home. They have better quarterback. They're just a better team overall, so I believe they're going to beat them once. Steelers at Colts. I'm going to go Colts here. Colts are at home, and I think, because remember, they beat the Steelers last year. So I think the Colts can do enough to at least, I feel like they have a good enough offensive line that can really control the Steelers' pass rush. And I think this defense is definitely going to give the Steelers' offensive line issues. And I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to run the ball really well. So, yeah, I think the Colts find a way to win that game. Broncos versus Jets. Jets should win this game easily. Better quarterback, they're at home. They're a more complete team. This could be a hack and revenge game as well. And especially, I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road, especially against an elite defense like the Jets. So, yeah, they got everything to, slow down the Broncos offense. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a good game here. The Jets offense can have a good game here as well. So, against the Broncos defense is not good. So, yeah. Chiefs versus Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers here in the first game because the game's in LA. And Chargers always seem to play the Chiefs pretty close. So, yeah, I think the Chargers are going to win this game at home here. Browns versus Raiders. This is another swing game. This is a game I think the Raiders can definitely win because this is in Las Vegas and it's a tricky place to play at. But I ain't going to go with the Browns here because the Browns are just a better team overall. The better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're just especially I wouldn't trust, if it's Aiden O'Connell, I wouldn't trust a young quarterback against that defense of the Browns because I think the Browns defense can do enough to slow down the Raiders offense. They can give the Raiders offense issues. They have guys in secondary that can man up against Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Brock Bowers. So, yeah. So, I think the Browns win this game. Bills versus Ravens. Obviously, this is another game that can go either way. Now, I believe this game from 2 years ago, the Bills went into Baltimore and win that game. But you know what? The Ravens blew that game, though, as well. But you know what? I don't see it happening again. I think the Ravens win because the game's in Baltimore. And I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a good game here. And I think the defense, can definitely give the Bills offense and Josh Allen issues. They have guys in the secondary that can be sticky against an underwhelming receiving core of the Bills. So, yes, I think the Ravens win. Titans at Dolphins. This is on Monday night. I got to go Dolphins here to get revenge on from last year because, Tennessee went into Miami and beat them. I don't see it happening again. I think Tua is going to have a good game here. And I just think the offense is way too explosive. And I just think they do have the corners to match up well with the Titans receiver as well. But I don't think their pass rush could be good enough to stop the run because I think Tennessee can run the ball on them. So, yeah, I think Miami wins this game, especially they have the better coaching staff. They're at home. They're a better quarterback, and they're the more complete team. So, yeah, Dolphins should easily win that game. Bengals versus Panthers. Obviously, Bengals should win this game. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. Yeah, that's an easy win for Cincy. Patriots versus 49ers. Niners should easily win. They're the best team. They have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. They're the more complete team. Especially, I wouldn't trust a rookie against a good defense like the Niners on the road. So, yeah. So, Niners should easily win. Cowboys at Giants on Thursday. I want to go with the Giants here, but I can't pick the Giants here to beat the Cowboys. I just need to see before I believe it. So, I'm going Cowboys here. Because there's a more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff, and they match up well with the Giants really good. So, yeah, I think Dallas wins that game. Vikings versus Packers. Packers should easily win. Packers are at home, better quarterback, better coaching staff. I just think they're kind of a better team than the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are good, so yeah, I think Packers win this game. Rams versus Bears. This is another swing game. I'm gonna go with the Bears here as an upset. I think the Bears at home is kind of tricky, and I think the Bears do have the answers on defense that can really man up against the receivers of the Rams. And I think their pass rush can do enough to at least get after Matthew Stafford, and I think they can slow down the running game with Kyron Williams. And I think the Bears offense might be a little bit kind of explosive for this Rams secondary to handle. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a good game here. So I think the Rams are a better team from a talent standpoint and a better coach team, but I think the Bears are going to find a way to win that game. Eagles versus Buccaneers. This is another swing game. Now, a lot of people are going to be on the Eagles to win this game because they're a better team. And they might want revenge because, last year they beat them in the regular season and the Bucs beat them in the playoffs. But obviously, I'm going with the Bucs here because I think the Bucs match up well with the Eagles pretty good on paper. They have the corners to man up against the Eagles receiver. They have the pass rush together, Jalen Hurts. And Tyler Bowles, he's prepared with these mobile quarterbacks. And I think the Bucs, have the offensive line to control the pass rush, and I think they can throw the ball on the Eagles to make them one-dimensional. So I think the Bucs win this game. It's pretty much they kind of own this rivalry. Saints versus Falcons. Falcons should win this game. They're at home. They have the better quarterback. I think they're a better team than the Saints this year as well. So, yeah, I think Atlanta wins this game. Commanders at Cardinals. This is another swing game. I think this is a game I think the Commanders can win because they kind of have a better pass rush than the Cardinals because I don't think the defense is good enough. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals here because I just think the Cardinals, Kyler Murray is a challenge, and I think he's going to have a good game here. And I don't think the Commanders have guys in the secondary that can man up against the Cardinals receivers. So I think Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler can have a good game here, especially Trey McBride and other guys as well. So, yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. Seahawks versus Lions on a Monday night. I'm going to go Lions get that revenge. Lions are at home, better quarterback, better coach. They're the more complete team, better coaching staff as well. I think the Lions defense can definitely give the Seahawks offense issues. Like, they have the pass rush to get after Geno Smith. They have guys in the secondary that can man up against the Seahawks receiving core. So, yeah. So, and especially they have a strong offensive line that can control the Seahawks pass rush that can definitely get the Seahawks defense in a bad position. So, yeah, I think the Lions win this game. So now we're done with week 4. Now we got to get towards week 5. Bills versus Texans. I got to go Texans here. This is a Stephon Diggs revenge game. They're at home in this game. I think the Texans, CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs is a challenge. And I think, the defense can definitely get the Bills' offense and Josh Allen a lot of issues because they can stop their running game really well. And I think their secondary can be sticky against an underwhelming receiving core. So, yeah, I think the Texans win this game. Colts versus Jaguars. I'm going to go Jags here. They're at home. They always tend to beat the Colts at home every single year. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. I think they're a more complete team as well. So, yeah, I think Jacksonville wins this game. Ravens versus Bengals. I'm going to go Bengals here because, Bengals got swept by the Ravens last year. I don't see it happening again. Dolphins versus Patriots. This is a tricky one. This is a game I think the Patriots can definitely win because they're at home. But I'm going to roll with the Dolphins here because I think the Dolphins, I just need to see it before I believe it. Like, Tua pretty much owns the Patriots as well. So I think the Dolphins win this game. Raiders at Broncos. The game's in Denver. I want to roll with the Broncos since it's in Denver, but I'm going with the Raiders here because I think I just need to see it before I believe it. Or, the Raiders pretty much have owned the Broncos for several years. I don't remember the last time the Broncos beat them, so I think the Raiders will win this game. Jets versus Vikings. The game's in London, but I would roll the Vikings here since it's in Minnesota. But I am going to roll with the Jets here because the Jets are on the road in this game. They have the better quarterback. There's the more complete team, and I wouldn't trust a rookie against that Jets defense. I think the Jets have a good enough pass rush to get after the Vikings run game. They have the secondary to cover the Vikings receivers. So, yeah, especially, I think Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams is going to be too much for the Vikings secondary to handle. So, Aaron Rodgers pretty much owns the Vikings as of late. So, he's going to have a good game here. So, I think the Jets win this game. Browns at Commanders. Browns, because I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road. I mean, a rookie against that elite defense of the Browns. So yeah, I think the Browns win this game. Cowboys at Steelers. This is another swing game. I could definitely roll the Cowboys here because I think the Cowboys are just kind of a better team overall than the Steelers. But I'm probably going to roll the Steelers here at home because the Steelers are at home. They have a good enough pass rush to get after Dak and all that. And I think they can run the ball on them especially really well. Especially Russell Wilson pretty much owns this Cowboys team. So, yeah, I think the Steelers will win that game. Saints versus Chiefs on a Monday night. I'm going to go Chiefs here. Chiefs are at home. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a more complete team. And I just think the Chiefs, Spags has really done a really good job, confusing Derek Carr. So I think the Chiefs find a way to win that game as well. Bucks versus Falcons on Thursday. I'm gonna go Falcons here. They're at home, and I just think I think they should be able to split the Bucks this year. So yeah. Panthers versus Bears. Obviously, I'm gonna go Bears. Bears are the more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching. They are the more complete team. And I just think the defense is definitely going to give Bryce Young and his Panther off an issue. They have the secondary demand against the Panthers receiver. They have the pass rush to get after Bryce Young. So, yeah. And especially, I think their offense is just way too explosive for this Panthers defense to stop. So, yeah. So, I think the Bears win this game. The Cardinals versus the Niners. Niners should win this game easily. Better quarterback, better coach staff. They're the more complete team. They're at home. So, yeah, I think the Niners win this game. Giants versus Seahawks. Seahawks are going to win this game. I think the Seahawks are just a better team, better quarterback. They're at home, so yeah, Seahawks easily win. Packers versus Rams. Obviously, the Packers, this is a game the Packers can win because they pretty much own the Rams. But the game's in LA, so I'm going to go with the Rams here because the game's in LA is a tricky place to play at. And I just think the Rams offense is just going to be a little bit too explosive for the Packers defense to handle. And especially Matthew Stafford is going to have a field day in this game, so yeah. Okay, we're done through week 5 already. Okay, so week 6, Colts versus Titans. Obviously, I'm going Titans here because I don't think they're going to get swept by the Colts. Because, last year the Colts swept them, but I don't see them doing it again because Titans are at home. And I just think Will Levis is going to have a good game here. And especially he could do enough to shred the Colts secondary, which is not good. So, yeah. Texans versus Patriots. This is a game the Patriots could definitely win, but I'm going to Texans here because they have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. They're more explosive on offense as well than the Patriots. So, yeah, I think Texans win. Steelers versus Raiders. Obviously, this is another swing game. I'm going to go with the Raiders as an upset. I think the Steelers are a better team from a talent standpoint. I just think the Raiders have a bit of a pass rush that can really get after Russell Wilson and all that. So, yeah. So, I think the Raiders' defense is going to win that game. Chargers versus Broncos. Last year the Broncos had swept them. So, I don't see them sweeping them. I got them beating them once at home because Denver's at home in this game. So, I'm saying the Broncos win that game. Bills versus Jets. Jets should win this game at home. This is where Aaron Rodgers got hurt in this game. I think the Jets will get their revenge because I forgot last year they beat the Bills on Monday Night Football with Zach Wilson. So yeah, and especially the Jets matchup well with the Bills really good. They have the defense, the pass rush get out there, Josh Allen. They have the secondary that can get sticky against an underwhelming receiving core. So yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a good game here. Jaguars versus Bears. This is a game, another swing game that can go either way. Obviously, I am going to go with the Bears because I think the Bears, Caleb Williams going to have a good game. The offense will be explosive. And I just think, I don't think Jacksonville has teams in the secondary that can really man up against. Jacks have corners in the secondary that can man up against the Bears receivers. I think they can run the ball on them a little bit. They have the defense to man up against, they get after Trevor Lawrence out of the secondary to get after the like man up against Jacksonville receiver. So yeah, I think the Bears win this game. Commanders versus Ravens. Ravens should win. They're the more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. So yeah, Ravens should win this game, especially I wouldn't trust a rookie on the world against a good defense like the Ravens. So yeah. Browns versus Eagles. I'm gonna go Eagles here. Eagles are at home. They're the better team, better quarterback. They're at home, and especially, I think the Eagles defense can do enough to at least like get after Deshaun Watson. And I think that pass rush can do a good job slowing down their run game. And I think their secondary can man up against the Browns receiving core. So yeah, I think the Eagles find a way to win. I think the Eagles defense is gonna win that game. Bengals versus Giants on Sunday night. Bengals should win this game. Bengals are the better team, better quarterback, better coaching. Yeah. Niners versus Seahawks on Thursday night. Now, Niners, I swept them for 2 seasons, but I want to go with the Niners here on the road. But I'm going to go with Seattle as an upset because I think Seattle is going to beat them once this year. So, yeah. Cardinals versus Packers. Packers should win this game. They're at home. They're a more complete team, better coaching staff. They kind of have a better quarterback as well. And I just don't think the Cardinals have the answers on defense to slow down the Packers offense. And especially Packers got more players on defense. And I think they can man up against Marvin Harrison Jr. in the secondary. And I think their pass rush can get after Kyler Murray as long as he's not running around. So, yeah, I think the Packers win that game. Buccaneers versus Saints. I think the Saints are going to win this game at home. Now, last year they split with them because Saints beat the Bucs in Tampa, then the Tampa beat the Saints in New Orleans. But I think Saints are going to win at home because, I think the Saints are going to have a good game here. So, yeah. I think the Saints are going to win this game at home. Lions versus Cowboys. This is another swing game. Now, most people are going to pick the Lions to win because the Lions might want their revenge from last year. But I'm picking the Cowboys because the Cowboys are at home in this game. And, they tend to play the Lions really well. They match up well with the Lions pretty well. It's a bad match for Detroit because the Cowboys have the corners in the secondary and the man against the Lions receiving core. They have the pass rush to get after Jared Goff and all that. And especially, the Lions can't really stop the pass really good, even though they upgrade their secondary. But I think the Cowboys defense is going to win that game. But I think their offense can definitely win this game. But I think the Cowboys defense will find a way to win that game. Falcons versus Panthers. I'm gonna go Panthers here at home. I think this is the first game I think the Panthers will win because they had tend to play the Falcons pretty tough. But last year the Panthers really barely beat them last year with Desmond Ridder. So yeah, I think the Panthers will win this first game as well at home. Now heading towards week 7. Patriots versus Jaguars. Jackson win this game. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a better team. So yeah. Dolphins versus Colts. This is a tricky one. This is a game I think the Dolphins can win, but I'm gonna roll the Colts here because I think the Colts, could do enough on the offensive line to run the ball against a Dolphins run defense is not really good. So I don't think they have much of a pass rush to get after Anthony Richardson. I think they can run the ball on them. So yeah, and I feel like they have a strong defensive line that can really like give the Dolphins offensive line into an issue. So yeah, I think the Colts can win that game. Titans versus Bills. I gotta go Bills here. The more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home in this game. So yeah, especially the Bills have the pass rush to get after Will Levis and have the secondary to like man up against the Titans receiver. So yeah, I think the Bills win this game. Bengals versus Browns. I'm going to go Browns here to win the first game because it's at home. And the Browns pretty much match up. They match up well with the Bengals really good on paper. So, yeah. Jets versus Steelers. I'm going to go Steelers here. Steelers are at home in this game. And I think the defense will win them the game. And I think with the pass rush, giving the Jets offense issues. So, yeah. And I think the Steelers win that game. Broncos versus Saints is on Thursday. This could be a Sean Payton revenge game, but I have to roll with the Saints here. The Saints are the better team, better quarterback. They're at home. I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road against that. A good defense like the Broncos is a good defense like the Saints as well. So yeah, I think the Saints win that game. So yeah. Texans versus Packers. This is another swing game. I could definitely see the Texans win this game, but I think the Packers win this game at home. I think the Packers are the more complete team. They have the better quarterback. They're at home in this game, and I just think, Green Bay's offense is probably going to be too much for the Texans defense to handle. I think Jordan Love can definitely slice and dice the Texans' young secondary up. They have a bit of a pass rush that can really like stop the run and get after CJ Stroud. And I think their secondary can do enough to like man up against the Texans receiving core. So yeah, I think the Packers win this game in a close one. Raiders versus Rams. I'm gonna go Rams here. Rams are a more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home, so yeah. Chiefs versus Niners Super Bowl rematch. I'm gonna go Niners here because I think the weapons that the Niners have on offense is gonna be a challenge without L'Jarius Sneed. It's gonna be a problem without Sneed. So I think the Niners can move the ball on them, and I think their defense can do enough to like get after Mahomes and stop the run. They have a good amount of the secondary that can man up against the Chiefs receiving core. So yeah, I think the Niners win this game. Ravens versus Buccaneers on a Monday night. I could see the Bucs win this game at home because I think Todd Bowles is good against mobile quarterbacks. But I remember 2 years ago, the Ravens went on the road and beat the Bucs. But you know what? This is what when Tom Brady was there, but this is no Tom Brady anymore. So I'm going with the Ravens here because I think the Ravens are the more complete team. They have the better quarterback. They have the better coaching staff. Um. So yeah. So I think the Ravens win this game, especially their defense can give the Bucks offense problems, and I think they have guys in the second that can man up against the Bucks receiving core. They have they can move the ball in the Bucks as well. So yeah, I think the Ravens win this game. Chargers versus Cardinals. This is a game I think the Chargers can win, but this game's in Arizona, so I think the Cardinals can win this game at home because I think the Cardinals got better receiving core, and I think Kyler Murray's gonna have a big game here. I think he could be a challenge in this game, so I think the Cardinals find a way to win that game. Lions versus Vikings. Obviously, I'm gonna go Vikings here at home. Minnesota tends to play the Lions tough, and I think Brian Flores is gonna give the Lions a lot of fits. So yeah, I think the Vikings win this game. Seahawks at Falcons. I'm gonna go Falcons here at home because I feel like Kirk Cousins is gonna have a good game here. So yeah. Eagles versus Giants. I think the Giants gonna beat the Eagles once this year because I remember last game of the season, the Giants really played the Eagles really well last year because I think the last game of the season the Giants beat them. So yeah, I think the Giants win this game. Panthers at Commanders. Commanders should win this game. They're at home in this game, and I think they have a bit of a pass rush to get after Bryce Young. So yeah. So I think Commanders win this game. Colts versus Texans. I'm gonna go Colts split season series. Ravens versus Browns. I'm gonna go Browns here to win at home. Jets versus Patriots. I'm gonna say Patriots split the season series. Chiefs versus Raiders. Raiders. I think they're gonna win at home. I think the Raiders can definitely do a good job disrupting Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. Because last year on Christmas Day, the Raiders definitely did that. So I think the Raiders will win at home. Packers versus Jags. I'm gonna go Jags here at home. They have the better quarterback. They're at home. I just think their offense is gonna be a little bit too explosive for the Packers defense to handle, especially this is Darnell Savage revenge game. So I think the Jags defense can give the Packers offense problems. Like they have the pass rush to get after Jordan Love in the run game, and they have the secondary that can really man against the Packers receivers. So yeah, I think Jacksonville wins. Cardinals versus Dolphins. Dolphins should win this game. They're at home in this game. They have the better quarterback, better coaching. They're at home. They're a more complete team. And I don't think the Cardinals have guys on defense that can really man up against the Cardinals, against the Dolphins receiving corps. So I feel like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, John Smith, and I think OBJ will be a problem, especially Raheem Morris and Devon H can be a problem too with that run game. So yeah, I think the Dolphins win this game. Titans versus Lions. Lions, they should win. They have better quarterback, better coaching. They're at home. Um, they're a more complete team. So yeah. I think the Lions win this game, especially they have guys in the secondary that can man up against the Titans receiver. So yeah, they have the pass rush to get after the Titans offense. They can stop the run really well. So yeah, I think the Lions win this game. Seahawks versus Bills. This is a tricky one. Now, this is a game Seattle can definitely win, but I'm going with the Bills here because I think the Bills are a more complete team, better quarterback. And I just think, the Bills have the defense, especially in the secondary, to man against the Seahawks receivers. They have a little bit of a pass rush they can get after Geno. So, yeah, I think this defense will win the game. Saints versus Chargers. This is a game I think the Saints can definitely win because the Saints got more weapons on offense. But I'm going with the Chargers here because the Chargers are at home. They have a better coaching staff, a better quarterback in this game. And I think the defense will win the game because I think their pass rush can do enough to disrupt Derek Carr in the run game. So, yeah, they have guys in the second that can man against the Saints receiver. So, yeah, I think the Chargers will win that game. Panthers versus Broncos. This is a game I think the Broncos can win because it's in Mile High. They're going towards south to west. Kind of a tough trip, but I'm going with the Panthers here because the Panthers have the better quarterback, better receiving core. Yeah. Eagles versus Bengals. This is going to be a good game to watch, but I'm going with the Bengals here because I think the Bengals have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. They're at home, and I just think the Eagles defense, I don't know if they're going to do enough to slow down the Bengals offense. I think the Bengals got lots of weapons on offense that can give the Eagles defense a lot of problems, especially in the secondary. So, yeah, and I think the Bengals defense can definitely give the Eagles offensive issues because I think they can stop the run really good. They can give the Eagles run game issues. They have a good secondary that can man against Eagles receivers. So, yeah, Bengals should win this game. Vikings versus Rams. Rams should win this game. They're at home. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. And especially, I don't think the Vikings really have any corners that can cover Puka and Cooper. I think those guys are going to have a good game here. So, yeah, I think the Rams win this game. Falcons versus Bucks. I'm going to go Bucks and split the season series because they always tend to play the Falcons pretty hard. Bears versus Commanders. This is another swing game. I'm going to go Bears here because the Bears are the more complete team. And, that's pretty much why. And I think the defense versus a rookie quarterback is going to be too much. So I think the Bears find a way to win that game again. Because I think I remember last year, the Bears went into Washington and beat them. So I think they can do it again. Especially Washington doesn't really have the answers in the secondary to man up against those Bears receivers. So I think Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roman Duze, Cole Kmet will be a problem. Cowboys versus Niners. I'm going to go Niners here. Niners are the more complete team, better quarter. They're at home. The Niners just tend to play the Cowboys pretty tough, and especially they can run the ball on them, they can throw the ball on them, and I think their defense can man up against the receiving core, and especially in the secondary. They can stop the run really good. So I think the Niners can win this game, but I think their defense will win this game, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Then the Giants versus Steelers on a Monday night. Steelers, they're at home, better core, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. They're at home, so yeah, I think Steelers win. Now we head into Week 9. Texans versus Jets. Thursday night game. Jets should win this game. Jets are the better quarterback. They're at home. They have better defense. I think their defense can do enough to slow down. They can do enough to slow down the offense of the Texans. They can stop the run of the Texans running game to give CJ Stroud issue. I mean, last year with Zach Wilson looked pretty good against the Texans last year. And especially that defense looked pretty good too. I think they can do it again. I feel like, Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams can be a problem for that Texans secondary to handle. And especially their offensive line can do a good enough job to control their pass rush of Texans. So, yeah, I think the Jets win this game. Patriots versus Titans. I'm going to go Titans here because they're at home. I mean, that's the game the Patriots can win. I'm going with the Titans here because the Titans, are at home. I think their offense is kind of explosive. And I think, they have a good enough pass rush that can really get after and stop the run of the Patriots offense. They have the corners in the secondary that can man up against an underwhelming receiving core of the Patriots. So I think the Titans win that game. Dolphins versus Bills. I would go Bills split season series. Bills are a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. So, yeah. Raiders versus Bengals. Bengals should win this game. They're the more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. Yeah. Broncos versus Ravens. Ravens should win this game. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. They're a more complete team as well. I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road against a good defense at the Ravens. Yeah. Chargers versus Browns. I'm going to go Browns here at home. I think the defense is going to give Justin Herbert and that Chargers offense a lot of fits. I think their offensive line can do a good enough job to slow down the Chargers pass rush. And I think they can run the ball on them, even though the Chargers are really not good against the run at times. Then they have a good enough secondary that can get sticky against an unwilling receiving core. So, yeah, I think the Browns will win that game. Colts versus Vikings. This is another swing game. This is a game I think the Colts can win, but I'm going with the Vikings here as an upset. I think the Vikings can win this game. They're at home. They're in Minnesota. I think Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison and T.J. Hockenson. Those guys are gonna be too much for the Colts secondary to handle. So I think the Vikings find a way to win that game. And I think Brian Flores can do a good job, confusing Anthony Richardson as well. So yeah. Jaguars versus Eagles. I'm going to go Eagles here. I know it's a Doug Peterson revenge game. I'm going to go Eagles here. They're just a more talented team. They're at home. And I just kind of really feel like the Eagles can do enough on defense, to stop the run, give Trevor Lawrence issues. They can at least, and they have guys in the secondary that can man up against a Jaguars receiving core as well. So, yeah, I think the Eagles win this game at home. Buccaneers versus Chiefs on a Monday night. I think Chiefs win. They're a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. So, yeah. I don't think the Bucs are going to be able to move the ball against the Chiefs defense. I think the Chiefs defense can win the game, especially I think their offense can be a little bit more explosive in this game. So I think the Chiefs win this game. Commanders versus Giants. I'm going to go Giants here to split the season series because the Giants tend to play the Commanders hard. So, yeah. Cowboys versus Falcons. This is a swing game. This is a game the Falcons can win, but I'm going with the Cowboys here because they're the better team overall, have the better coaching staff and the better quarterback. So, yeah. And I think the Cowboys defense will get Kirk Cousins issues as well. And I think they can move the ball in the Falcons because I don't think the Falcons have much of a pass rush as well. Saints versus Panthers. I'm going to go Panthers split the season series. Bears versus Cardinals. I could go Bears here to win, but I'm going Cardinals as an upset. Rams versus Seahawks. I'm going to go Seahawks to win this game. I don't see them getting swept by the Rams. Now, last year the Rams swept them, but I think Seahawks win this game at home. Lions versus Packers. I'm going to go Packers at home. So, yeah. Now we got towards week 9. Now we can get week 10 done. Week 10, Bengals versus Ravens. I'm going to go Ravens split season series. Broncos versus Chiefs. I'm going to go Chiefs to win. Bills versus Colts. Bills to win. Because Bills, I think that's a game that I think the Colts can win because the Colts are at home. But I think the Bills win this game because I think Josh Allen can do enough to slice and dice that Colts secondary up. That's not good. I think the Bills have a better defense overall that can really get after Anthony Richardson. They have the corners to man up against the Colts receivers. And especially they're a better team, better quarterback, better coaches staff. So, yeah. Chargers versus Chiefs. Titans versus Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers here. The game's at home. They have a better quarterback, better coaching. And they have the pass rush that can really get after Will Levis as well. They have the guys in the secondary to man up against the Titans receivers. So, yeah. I think the Chargers defense will win the game. And they have a strong offensive line that can control the Titans pass rush as well. Patriots at Bears. I'm going to go Bears here. I think the Bears are a better team. They're at home, better. And all of a sudden, I think their defense is definitely going to give the Patriots offense issue. They have the secondary to be sticky against an unwell receiving core. They have the secondary. They have the pass rush to man up against the Patriots, the offensive line. So, yeah, I think the Bears win this game here. Steelers versus Commanders. The Steelers should win. They're the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a more complete team. I wouldn't trust a rookie against a good defense like the Steelers. So, yeah, I think the Steelers win this game. Vikings versus Jaguars. I'm gonna go Jaguars. They're at home, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. So yeah, Jacksonville should win this game. So yeah, at home, I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road in Jacksonville. So yeah, I think Jaguars win that game. Jets versus Cardinals. Jets should win this game. Better quarterback. They're the more complete team. Kind of a better coaching staff. I think the Jets offense can definitely move the ball against a Cardinals defense is not good. They have the pass rush to get after Kyler. They have guys in second that can man against the Cardinals receiving core. So I think the Jets win that game easily. Lions versus Texans. This was going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, if the game's in Detroit, I'm going the Lions. But since the game's in Houston, I'll go with the Texans here. The Texans are just a more they're at home, and I just think Stephon Diggs is going to be a problem. It's going to be a challenge. I think they have the pass rush to get after Jared Goff. They have the secondary to man up against the Lions receiver. So yeah, I think the Texans win this game. Dolphins versus Rams on Monday night. I'm going with the Rams here because the game's in LA. They had to go from Dolphins got to go from east to west, which is not a good travel. And I think the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford's gonna have a good game here, and I think the offense is gonna be too much for a Dolphins defense to handle. So I think the Rams find a way to win this game in a high scoring game. Giants versus Panthers. This is a game I think the Panthers can win, but I'm going with the Giants here because I think the Giants pass rush can definitely find a way to get after Bryce Young and all that, and especially, I think Daniel Jones will have a good game here as well. So I think the Giants find a way to win this game with the defense winning it. Falcons versus Saints. Obviously, um, hmm. I'm gonna go with Saints to split the series. Niners versus Buccaneers. Niners should win this game. They're a better team, better core, better coaching staff. So yeah. Eagles versus Cowboys. I'm gonna go Cowboys. They're at home and they intend to play well at home against the Eagles. So yeah. So now we go towards week 11. We got the Raiders versus Dolphins. Obviously, I gotta go Dolphins here. They're at home. They're the better team, better core, better coaching staff. So yeah, Dolphins easily win. Ravens versus Steelers. Steelers should win. Bengals versus Chargers. That's a game the Chargers can win, but I'm going with the Bengals here. They're the more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff, and all that. So yeah, I think the Bengals win that game because especially their receiving core is better, and their defense can really match well. The Chargers really good. They can stop the run, get after Justin Herbert, and I think they got guys in the secondary that can be sticky against an unwilling receiving core. So I think the Bengals win that game. Chiefs versus Bills. This is a playoff rematch. I'm going Bills here at home because Buffalo's a tough place to play at. Colts versus Jets. I'm going to go Jets here. They're the better team, better quarterback. They're at home. And I think the defense can do enough to at least stop the run, get after Anthony Richardson. The secondary can do enough to man up against the Colts receivers. They have, and I think Garrett Wilson will be a problem against that Colts secondary. So yeah, I think the Jets win that game. Vikings versus Titans. This is another swing game. I'm gonna go Titans here because I think the Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, and DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like those guys are gonna be too much for the Vikings secondary to handle, especially the Titans have a better secondary. I think their corners can man up against the Vikings receivers, and I think their pass rush can do enough to stop the run and get after the Vikings offense. So I think the Titans win that game. Browns versus Saints. This is a swing game, but that's a game I think the Saints can win. But I'm gonna go Browns here because I think the Browns are just a more complete team, have the better coaching staff, and I think their defense can do enough to get confused, get after Derek Carr and make the Saints offense one dimensional because Saints don't have a good offensive line, so I think their defensive line can overwhelm them with their pass rush because they can stop the run. And I think their secondary can man up against Saints receivers. So I think the defense will win the game. Rams versus Patriots. I'm going to go Rams here. They're a more complete team, better coaching staff, better quarterback, and I think their offense is a bit more explosive than the Patriots. So yeah, I think the Rams win. Jags versus Lions. I'm gonna go Lions here. The Lions are at home. They're a more complete team. So yeah, especially I think they have the answers on defense. Especially in the secondary, the man up against the Jags receiving core. They have the pass rush to get after Trevor Lawrence and all that. So yeah, I think the Lions offense can definitely have a big game here. So yeah. And I think their offensive line can do enough to control the Jags pass rush. So I think the Lions win that game. Falcons versus Broncos. I gotta go Falcons here. Falcons are a better quarterback. They're a more complete team. So yeah, I think the Falcons win that game. Texans versus Cowboys. This is another swing game. Now, this is a game I think the Cowboys can win because they're at home, but I'm going to go with the Texans here because the Texans are just a better team overall, have a better quarterback. So I think the Texans can do enough on defense to get after Dak Prescott. And I think you have guys in the second that can man up against the Cowboys receiving core. And I think they can run the ball on them a little bit. So yeah, I think the Texans win that game. Commanders versus Eagles on Thursday night game. I'm going to go Eagles here. They're at home. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team, yeah. Packers at Bears. I'm going to go Bears here. Bears are just better team. I mean, I think they're going to split with the Packers at home. So, yeah, I think the Bears can win that game. Seahawks versus Niners. I'm going to go Niners to split the season series. So, yeah. Okay, we got towards week 11. Now we got to go towards week 12. Week 12, we got the Steelers versus Browns on Thursday night game. I'm going to go Browns here at home to win that game. Titans versus Texans. Texans. Patriots versus Dolphins. I'm going to say Dolphins with sweeping the series. Broncos at the Raiders. I'm going to say Raiders sweep the season series. Ravens versus Chargers. This is kind of a tricky one. I could definitely see a game where I think the Ravens can win. But, I'm going to go Ravens here. Because I think Ravens are the better team overall. And I think their secondary is really good enough. They can be sticky against an underwhelming receiving core. I think the Ravens defense can find a way to get after Justin Herbert and all that. And I think they can run the ball on the Chargers as well. So I think the Ravens win that game. Lions versus Colts. I'm going to go Lions here. They're a more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. And I think Amon-Ra St. Brown and St. Laporte will be a problem for that Colts secondary. So, yeah. And especially the Lions have a better secondary that can really man against the Colts receivers. They have the pass rush to get after Anthony Richardson and stop the run. So, yeah. And I think the Lions offensive line can control the Colts pass rush as well. I think it will be close, though. But that's the game I think the Colts can win. But I think the Lions find a way to pull this one off. Chiefs at Panthers. I got to go Chiefs. They're the better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. So, yeah, I mean, the defense is going to find a way to confuse Bryce Young in that game. So, yeah. And especially the offense will be way too explosive as well. So, I think the Chiefs win that game. Vikings at Bears. I'm going to go Bears here at home. I think they're going to be a better team than the Vikings. So, yeah. And especially I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road against a good defense like the Vikings. So, yeah, I think the Bears win that game. Bucks versus Giants. That's the game I think the Giants can win, but I think the Bucks can win this game. They're more talented. They're a better quarterback, better coaching. So, yeah, I think they have the better defense as well and the better offense as well. So, I think the Bucks win this game. Cowboys at Commanders. I'm going to go Cowboys here. They're a more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. And I wouldn't trust a rookie against that good defense like the Cowboys. So, yeah. Cardinals versus Seahawks. I'm going to go Seahawks here at home. Niners versus Packers. This is a tricky one. I'm going to go Packers here. I think the Packers at home is very tough to play at. So, yeah. Eagles at Rams. That's the game I think the Eagles can win because I feel like the Eagles pretty much own the Rams. Because I remember last time the Rams beat them in Philly, but I think the Rams are going to win at home because LA is kind of a tricky place to play at. I think Matthew Stafford is a challenge, and I think the Rams offense is going to have a good game here. So, yeah. So, we got towards week 12. Week 13, things get a little different here. We got Friday. We got the Raiders versus Chiefs. I'm going to go Chiefs here to split the season series because they're a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. Colts versus Patriots. This is tricky, but I'm going to go with the Patriots here as an upset. I think the Patriots can move the ball on the Colts, and I think, and all that. So, yeah. I have a feeling the Patriots are going to win. Steelers versus Bengals. I'm going to go Bengals here. They're the better team, better quarterback. They're at home. I think they have better coaching staff as well. So, yeah, I think the Bengals win this game. Texans versus Jags. I'm going to go Jaguars split the season series. Browns and Broncos on Monday night game. Browns should easily win that game. Broncos still stink. Better quarterback for the Browns, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team, especially a rookie against an elite defense like the Browns. Nah, that's crazy. Browns easy win. Dolphins versus Packers. This is on Thursday on thing. This could go either way. I mean, that's a game I think the Dolphins can win, but I think the Packers are going to win because I think the Packers are the more complete team. They're at home, and I just think they can run the ball on them a little bit, and I think their defense can find a way to at least stop the run of the Dolphins, and they can at least their secondary can be sticky against an unwhelming receiving core. So yeah, I think the Packers find a way to win that game. Chargers versus Falcons. I'm gonna go Falcons. They're at home, and I think I think the Falcons find a way to win that game, especially they have more weapons on offense as well. Seahawks versus Jets. I'm going to go Jets here because I feel like Aaron Rodgers kind of owns the Seahawks, and I think their defense can match up well. The Seahawks really good. They have the secondary to man against the Seahawks receivers. They have the pass rush to get after Geno Smith, and I think I think their defense will win that game as well, and I feel like the offense will have a good game too. Titans versus Commanders. This is another swing game. I feel like this is a game I think the Titans can win, but I'm going Commanders as an upset because I feel like that's a game I think Commanders always tend to win games. They shouldn't, but I have a feeling Washington is going to win. Eagles at Ravens. I'm going to go Ravens here at home. Ravens are at home, and especially I think their defense can do enough to get after Jalen Hurts. They have the corners to match it well with the Eagles receivers. And I think, Lamar, and I think Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews will be a problem. So I think the Ravens can win that game. 49ers versus Bills. This is another swing game. I think this is a game the Niners can definitely win because I think they're a better team than the Bills. But I'm going to go with Buffalo because the game's in Buffalo. And I think, the Bills defense can definitely give the Niners offense issues because I think they have the pass rush to get after Brock Purdy. They have the secondary to man up against the Niners receivers. And I think their O-line can control the Niners pass rush really well. So, yeah, I think the Niners can win. I think the Bills win that game. Bears versus Lions on Thursday. I'm going to go Lions here. They're at home. They're a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. So, yeah. Giants versus Cowboys. I say Cowboys sweep the season series again. They're just a better team overall, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. I mean, Cowboys tend to play the Giants really well. So, yeah, I think Dallas wins that game. Cardinals versus Vikings. Vikings should win that game. They're at home. Cardinals will have good defense. They could be able to move the ball against them. And they have the better quarterback and they just have a better coaching staff as well. So, and especially, I don't think the Cardinals have answers on defense that can really man up against the Vikings receivers. So, yeah, I think the Vikings win that game. Rams versus Saints. This is a tricky one, but I could go with the Rams here because they have the better quarterback. They're the better coach team, they have the better quarterback. So, I think the Saints are going to win that game because I have a feeling that the Rams, without Aaron Donald, I think the Saints can run the ball on them, and I think Derek Carr can have a little time to throw the ball. So, yeah. And I think their defense can do a good job, slowing down the run, getting after Stafford. So, yeah, I think the Saints can win that game. Bucks versus Panthers. I'm going to go Panthers here at home. Okay, so we got towards week 12 already. Now we got to get towards week 13. This is week 14, actually. So, week 14, we got the Jags versus Titans. I think Titans win that game. Browns versus Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to win the game split season series. Jets versus Dolphins. I'm going to go Dolphins in Miami, which is a tricky place to play at. Chargers versus Chiefs. Chiefs should win the split season series. They're a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home, so yeah. Raiders versus Bucks. I'm going to go Bucks. They're a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. I mean, they have better defense as well. So, yeah, and I think their offense is going to, with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, will be too much for the Raiders secondary to handle. So, yeah, that's an easy win for the Bucs. Bills versus Rams. That's a game I think the Bills can win, but I think the Rams are going to win because I think the Rams have more skill group on offense. So, yeah, and they're at home in this game, so that's why I think the Rams win. Bengals versus Cowboys. This is a game I think the Bengals can win because I think they're a better team than Dallas, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys here because I think the Cowboys match up well with the Bengals really good. They have the pass rush to get after Joe Burrow. They have the corners to cover the receivers. So I think the defense can definitely win them this game as well. So, yeah. Packers versus Lions on Thursday. I'm going to go Lions here. They're the better team. They're at home, better quarterback. So, yeah, I think the Lions win that game. Falcons versus Vikings. This is a game I think the Vikings can win because I don't think the Falcons defense is that great. But this is a Kirk Cousins revenge game because I have had a feeling I'd say the Falcons win this game. I think they're a better team than the Vikings. They have a better quarterback, so yeah. Saints versus Giants. This is a game I think the Giants can win, but I'm going to go with Saints here because I think the Saints are the better team overall. They have the better quarterback. And I just think the defense will give the Giants offense issues as well. So I think the Saints find a way to win that game. Panthers versus Eagles. I'm going to go Eagles here. They're just a more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. And I feel like the Eagles' defense will give them problems. And they have the secondary to man up against the Panthers. They have the pass rush get after Bryce Young. And their offensive line can do enough. It's going to open up some space for them to run the ball really well. So I think the Eagles win that game. Seahawks versus Cardinals. Cardinals should win this game. They're at home. I think Cardinals will tend to beat the Seahawks sometimes, but I think this is a game they'll win. Bears versus Niners. Niners should win. They're a better team, better coach staff, better quarterback. They're at home, and I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road against an elite defense like the Niners. So, yeah, I think the Niners win that game as well. Okay, we're getting closer to Week 15. We got the Dolphins versus Texans. I'm going to go Texans here at home. I think they're a better team, better quarterback. They're at home. I think the defense will get the Dolphins' offense issues with their pass rush, get Tua issues. They have the secondary to man against the Dolphins' receiving core. And Diggs will be a challenge, too, especially they have a strong offensive line. I think they can run the ball on the Dolphins as well, so I think Texans win this game. Bengals versus Titans. I think the Bengals are going to win this game. They're going to get revenge from last year where the Titans really whooped them. And especially the Bengals have a better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a more complete team. So, yeah, I think the Bengals win that game. Jets versus Jaguars. This is a tricky game. This is a game I think the Jets can win, but I'm going Jacksonville because I think Jacksonville is a weird place to play at, and I think their defense can confuse Aaron Rodgers because I thought from 2 years ago they really played the Jets offense really good, and they really gave Zach Wilson an issue. I think they can do the same thing with Aaron Rodgers as well. So I think the Jags will win that game. Chiefs versus Browns. This is a game I think the Chiefs can win, but this can go either way. But I'm going Browns as an upset because I think the Browns defense is going to give the Chiefs offense issues, and I think they can offensive line can block their pass rush. And I have a feeling their secondary can man up against the Chiefs receivers as well. So I think the Browns defense will win the game. Colts versus Broncos. I'm going to go Colts here. They're a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. So, yeah, that's an easy Colts win. Ravens versus Giants. Ravens should easily win. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're the more complete team. That's an easy Ravens win. Buccaneers versus Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers here because they're at home in this game, and especially he's in L.A. And even though the Bucs got more weapons than them, I think the Chargers secondary can play man coverage against them. They have the pass rush to get out to Baker Mayfield, and they have a strong offensive line that can control the Bucs pass rush, which that can put their defense in the bad position. So yeah, I think the Chargers win that game. Patriots versus Cardinals. This is a game I think the Cardinals can win, but I think the Patriots are going to win this game on the road because I think the Patriots can move the ball on the Cardinals, even though the Cardinals defense isn't good. They have the pass rush in the secondary to man against the Cardinals receivers and get after Kyler. So I think the Patriots win that game. Bills versus Lions. I'm going to go Lions here. They got more skill group on offense. They have the secondary to man up against the be sticky against an unwelcome receiving core of Buffalo. Their pass rush could do a good job getting after Allen and all that. So, yeah, I think the Lions win that game. Steelers versus Eagles. I'm going to go Eagles here. They're the more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. I think the defense matches up well. The Steelers really good. So, I think, they can get after Russell Wilson. And I think their secondary can cover the tight end and they can cover George Pickens. So, yeah, I think the Eagles' offensive line can control the Steelers' pass rush as well. So, I think the Eagles win that game. Falcons versus Raiders. This is on a Monday night game. Vegas is kind of a tricky place to play at, but I'm going Atlanta here because they have the better quarterback. They're just a more complete team. And I think Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, those guys are going to be too much for the Raiders secondary to handle. So, I think the Falcons win that game. Rams versus Niners. I'm going to go Niners here at home to split the season series because Niners just pretty much own the Rams. They have a better quarterback. They're at home. They're the more complete team, so yeah. Commanders versus Saints. I'm going to go Saints because I don't trust a rookie on the road against a dome. I know it's a homecoming for Jaden Daniels, but the Saints are just a better team. They're at home. So, yeah, I think Saints win that game. Cowboys versus Panthers. Cowboys easily win this game again. Better quarterback, better coach staff. They're a more complete team, yeah. Packers versus Seahawks. I'm gonna go Seahawks here. They're at home, and Seattle's kind of tough to play at. I think Seattle does have some personnel to beat the Packers as well. They have the pass rush to get after Jordan Love. They have the second in the man against those young receivers, and I feel like the Seahawks kind of got more skill group on offense to say. So yeah, I think Seattle wins that game. Bears versus Vikings. Vikings. I'm gonna go Vikings split season series like they always do because they always play the Bears tough. So yeah, Vikings should easily win that game. Okay, now we gotta go towards week 16. We got the Browns versus the Bengals. I say Bengals split the season series. Texans versus Chiefs. I'm gonna go Chiefs here at home because they're the better team. They're at home. They kind of have a better defense as well. So yeah, and I think Mahomes can do enough to slice and dice the Texans secondary up. So yeah. Steelers versus Ravens. I'm gonna go Ravens split the season series. Titans versus Colts. I'm gonna say Colts split the season series. Patriots versus Bills. I'm gonna say the Bills beat them because they're at home, better quarterback, better coach. They're just a better team. So yeah. Broncos versus Chargers. Chargers to split the season series. They have a better quarterback. They're at home, better coaching staff. So yeah, Chargers win. Jags versus Raiders. Jags should win this game. They're better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a more complete team. And the weapons that Jaguars have on offense will be too much for the Raiders secondary to handle. So yeah, I think the Jags win that game. Rams versus Jets. I'm going to go Jets to win this game because Aaron Rodgers owns the Rams. And, they have the defense, to get after Matthew Stafford, to stop the run. And they have the secondary to man up against the Rams receivers as well. So I feel like the Jets defense can win the game. Niners versus Dolphins is a tricky one. I think this is a game I think the Dolphins can win because it's in Miami. But I'm going to go with the Niners because I think the Niners are just way too physical for the Dolphins. They have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a more complete team. So, yeah. Lions versus Bears. I'm going to go Bears to win because, Jared Goff struggles outdoors. And especially the Bears, have played the Lions really well last year, especially in 2 games as well. So I think the Bears will win that game. Giants versus Falcons. I'm going to go Falcons, better quarterback. They're at home. They're a more complete team. So, yeah. They have more skill group on offense. So, yeah. Eagles versus Commanders. I'm going to say Commanders split the season series because sometimes they tend to play the Eagles pretty tough. But last year they swept them. But I think this year I think Commanders will split with them. Cardinals versus Panthers. This is another swing game. I think this is a game the Panthers will win. I'm gonna take Kyler Murray versus small Bryce Young. So yeah. Vikings versus Seahawks. I'm gonna go Seahawks because they're at home. They have the better quarterback. They're a more complete team, and they have the secondary to man against the Vikings receiver. And I think they have the pass rush to get to stop the run. All that. So I think Seattle wins the game. Bucks versus Cowboys. I think the Cowboys win this game. Now this is a game where the Cowboys did beat the Bucs with Tom Brady, but now this is Baker Mayfield versus Dak Prescott. I think the Cowboys win this game because they're a better team, better quarterback. They're at home, better coaching staff. So yeah, I think the Cowboys win this game. Saints versus Packers on Monday night in Lambeau. I gotta go Packers here. They're a better team, better quarterback. They're at home, better coaching staff. So yeah. But I know last year the Saints really played the Packers really well last year, and the Packers really came back on them. That's when their offense came to play and the defense came to play. So yeah, I think the Packers win that game. Okay, week 17. We got the Chiefs versus Steelers on a Wednesday. This is a game I think the Steelers can win as long as if they can get pressure on Mahomes. I think the Steelers can win, but I think the Chiefs will win because they're a better team, better quarterback, better coaching staff. So yeah, Ravens versus Texans. This is a game I think the Ravens can win because I think they're better than the Texans. But I am going to go Texans here at home to get the revenge on them. Broncos versus Bengals. Bengals should easily win. They have better quarterback, better coach staff. They're a more complete team. They're at home. So, yeah. I wouldn't trust the rookie on the road as well. So, yeah. Chargers versus Patriots. I'm going to go Patriots to win because I think the Patriots do got some personnel to beat the Chargers. They pretty much own the Chargers. And especially last year, the Chargers really barely beat the Patriots in New England 6-0. But I think it's going to be a defense again. I think the Patriots defense will win the game. Titans versus Jags. I'm going to say Jaguars win. They have home, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're a more complete team. Yeah. Jets versus Bills. I'm going to say Bills split the season series. I think the Bills are kind of had the better quarterback. They're at home, better coaching staff as well. So, yeah. Dolphins versus Browns. I'm going to say Browns win. I think their defense wins in the game. because they're at home, and I think they're just a more complete team. And I think their defense can give Tua some fits. And I think they have the secondary to man up against the Dolphins receiving core. So, yeah. I think they can run the ball on them with Nick Chubb because I think the Dolphins' run defense is a little suspect. So, yeah. Colts versus Giants. I'm going to go Colts here. They're a better team, better quarterback. They have a better coaching staff. They have more skill group on offense and defense. So, yeah, I think the Colts win this game. Raiders versus Saints. This is a game I think the Raiders can win, but I'm going Saints here. They have the better quarterback, they're at home, and they're the more complete team and have the better defense, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think the weapons that the Saints have on offense will be too much for the Raiders secondary to handle. So, I think the Saints win this game. Seahawks versus Bears Thursday night. I'm going to go Bears here. They're at home, and I think their defense can do enough to give the Seahawks offense some fits. They have the secondary to man up against the Seahawks receivers. They have the pass rush to get after Geno. So, yeah, I think the Bears defense can win the game. And I think their offense might be too much for the Seahawks defense to handle. So, yeah. Cardinals versus Rams. I'm going to say Rams with the season series. I think the Rams are a better team, better quarterback, better coach staff. They're at home in this game. So, yeah, the Rams should easily win that game. Falcons versus Commander. This is a Kirk Cousins revenge game. I mean, that's the game I think Washington can win, but I'm going to Atlanta here because they have the better quarterback in this game, and they're the more complete team. And I think the weapons that they have on offense will be too much for the Washington secondary to handle. So I think Commanders win that game. Packers versus Vikings. I'm safe Vikings split with them, even though I don't think the Vikings are going to be very good because they always tend to play the Packers hard. Panthers versus Bucks. Bucks should win this game. They're at home. They're better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're more complete team, so they should be able to split with them as well because I feel the Bucks will be very good and the Panthers are going to suck again. Cowboys versus Eagles. I'm going to say Eagles split the season series. Lions versus Niners. I'm going to go Niners here because the Niners are at home. This is a playoff rematch, but I'm going Niners at home because they have they're just a more complete team as well, and they match up with the Lions pretty good. I mean, last year the Lions played them really well. The Lions really played them really well on the road, and especially the Niners came back on them where the Niners offense got together and the defense really gave them fits. So I think the Niners can do it again. Then last week of the season, we got week 17. We got Chargers versus Raiders. I'm gonna go Raiders here at home. They're a more complete. Raiders should split the season series like they always play the Chargers pretty tough. So yeah. Chiefs versus Broncos. Unless the Chiefs rest in their starters, I'll take the Broncos. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs for right now. Texans versus Titans. If the Titans rest their starters, I'm probably gonna say the Titans. I'm going to say the Titans, unless the Texans rest their stars, I'll go Titans here. But I'm going to say they do rest their guys, so I'll take the Texans to win this game. I'll take Titans to win that game. Because, Texans split with them last year. I mean, they swept them last year. I think the Titans will win this game at home. Jaguars versus Colts. I'm going to go Colts here to split the season series. Bengals versus Steelers. I'm going to go Steelers. At home. Browns versus Ravens. I'm going to say Ravens split with them. Bills versus Patriots. I'm going to say the Bills are going to sweep the Patriots. I mean, I understand last year the Patriots beat them, but I think the Bills are going to sweep them. Dolphins versus Jets. I'm going Jets split season series. Niners versus Seahawks versus Rams. I'm saying Rams are going to split with them. Niners versus Cardinals. Unless the Niners rest their starters, I am going to go with the Cardinals, but I'm going with the Niners here because the Niners are just a better team. So I'm going to say they just sweep the season series. Bears versus Packers. Packers will split with them because they always play the Bears pretty tough, and they own the Bears. So, yeah. Commanders versus Cowboys. I'm going to go Cowboys here. I think the Cowboys are the better team overall. And, they swept them last year, but I don't see the Commanders splitting with them. So, yeah. Saints versus Buccaneers. I'm going to go Bucks to split the season series. Vikings at Lions. I'm going to say Lions split the season series. They're a better team, better quarterback. They're at home, so yeah. Better coach staff as well, so yeah. Panthers versus Falcons. I'm going to say Falcons split with them because they're at home. They have the better quarterback. They're the more complete team as well, so yeah. Then Giants versus Eagles. Eagles should win. They're the better team, better quarterback, better coach staff. They're the more complete team, and they're at home, so yeah. Eagles should win. Okay, so there it is. I did it. I finally did it. I predicted all 272 games in one video. Like I did it though. Like I didn't think it was going to take 5 hours long, but I finally did it. But I haven't really decided on the record predictions yet, but but I'm going to do them I'm going to do them like maybe like later on like pretty soon. So, yeah. Well, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you disagree with me, just let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. What you guys think? Like, what record would you think your team will go to? So yeah, so this is Emmanuel Jones, a big fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later in the next video. Peace.